All right. Says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. We got 120 waiting. I appreciate you all hanging out with me on your Sunday afternoon. I think this is a really fun slate. The way the starting grid is, many ways to go. Lots of chalk as well, but it should be a fun one. Atlanta's obviously a very weird track. We have a pretty limited sample size with how this track is going to work. I wouldn't say anyone's really got a great idea of how it's going to play out, but it should be fun. Loud and clear from Andre. That means we are good to go. Thank y'all for being here. What's up, Geb? Cheers to start time 11:21. CP getting more punctual as the years go on. Yeah, what is up? What is up? Again, I've already pretty much said everything I want to say in the preview video. So these live streams are really just for me to hang out with y'all. Ask me any question you got. I'll be more than happy to answer them. We have about 3 hours until lock. And if anybody that works at FanDuel is watching this, which I don't think you can play anyway, so you probably shouldn't be, but if you are, fix your contest sizes. We have the main contest all filling 3 hours before lock. That is terrible. Let's up those a bit. All right. Got a donut from man C. Jenkins. Always appreciate this. He's going to miss the live. I have to work, but I want to show my support for the help you give us. Appreciate that. And enjoy Vegas. I know you're in Vegas, not for the race this week, but next week. You'll have a good time. I know Sean will be there as well, so hopefully y'all enjoy the race and enjoy Vegas today. What's up, DJ Stoner? Wakey wakey. Bakey NASCAR DFS from Garden City, Colorado. What's up, host? Nice to see you. And happy McLeod race day. Yeah, it's not a live stream unless we have our McLeod propaganda, so. Kevin says, why doesn't Larson project well here? Seems like a solid pivot play, but I'm new to NASCAR. So Larson, the reason Larson won't project well here, I don't know which projection system you're looking at. I mean, I don't have him projected amazing either. I believe I have him around 30. Let me check for you. I have Larson projected for 34.85 points today, which, I mean, it's not absolutely awful. For where he's starting, I give him a 9th place finish, which is not as bad as it sounds because I have the winner projected for a 6.75 finish, which is Joey Logano. I mean, I can't just realistically project someone to finish 1, 2, 3. It's not a great way to do projections. So Larson, the reason why he's not going to project well at a track like this is because at drafting tracks, Larson just historically has not been very good at all, especially Atlanta. And again, we're talking about very small sample sizes, and if you're just looking at average finish for super speedways, that's really not the best way to do it because, I mean, if you get caught up in 1 wreck or 2 wrecks in a small sample, your numbers are just going to look horrible. But for the 4 races at New Atlanta, for Kyle Larson, average finish of 27.5, running position of 19th, has 1 top 20. But if we expand that to the last 13 Super Series races for Larson, the next gen car, running position of 16th, which is not as bad as it sounds, and then an average finish of 23.5 with only 1 top 10 finish. Like, he just does not excel at these types of tracks. I'm not saying he's unplayable today because Atlanta is a different beast from a Daytona or Talladega, but that's why he's not going to project as well. Plus, you don't have any place differential upside, and retaining spots throughout the entire race at a drafting track is not the easiest thing to do, especially someone that's not amazing at it. So that's part of the reason why. Now, next week when we're at Vegas, I believe it's Vegas next week, right? He's going to project pretty well there. I mean, I can just tell you that right now. It's a whole different animal compared to like Atlanta. So next week will be fun. We can finally get the 2 super speedways out of the way. A lot of high variance there. And then Vegas, I mean, I don't know yet, but I assume it's going to be like a Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson type of show where Dominator points are going to matter. Let's chat. Turning Plays says, if everyone knows to play Ford and Penske, who do we play hoping the Ford underwhelm? Well, I mean, Hendrick would be like right there with you, or just really the Chevys in general. You have Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson up top. There's a decent chance they could end up running the show, although it's going to be a Ford party, I think, at least at the beginning of the race. You have Joey Logano, Michael McDowell with the front row. And I mean, Joey's a really tough guy to pass. I assume he's going to control the race. Could be McDowell. I'm assuming it's going to be Joey. You also have the rest of the Penske stable. I think within the top 10, Blaney's in 6th, I believe, and Austin Cindric's in 8th. So shouldn't be too hard for them to team up and potentially control the race. But I mean, there's lots of different ways you can go outside of Ford and Penske. I mean, if you're just playing the guys that are starting in the back half of the field, even you have Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, lots of Chevys, and some of the Toyotas back there as well. Larson, Truex, Bowman, or Bubba. I believe of that group, I would have Bubba the highest. Yeah, I got Bubba the highest there. I got him with a 12.35 projected finish, 37.5 fantasy points. pretty solid compared to the rest. What's up, Mom? Says, hey, buddy. Happy race day. NASCAR fam. Let's get it. Logano. Hey, it could be a good day for your driver, Joey. But not be surprised about that. You all good luck and vroom, yeah. Yeah, I have the outrights I have to win this week. I wouldn't bet any of them right now because the numbers have gone way down. But I had Joey at 12-1. Some places that's at plus 750 now. No chance I'd bet that. I got Blaney at 12-1, which I don't think is too far off. I think you can get him like at 10 or 11, depending where you look. I got Keselowski at 14. Depends where you're looking again. You can get him at 13 or 12. If you get him at 13, I don't hate it. I don't think. Let me see what my fair odds are now. Well, I guess I wouldn't love it at 13 currently. Earlier in the week I would have though. And then probably my favorite bet is my Ford to win at plus 180. That is now down. I believe they're the favorites, not minus odds, but hoping a Ford can at least get in victory lane today, and that would cover the rest. Because I just have sprinkles because I don't like going heavy at drafting tracks as far as getting outrights because, I mean, the heck knows what's going to happen. But I was glad that Ford looked pretty strong in qualifying at least. Who are my 3 favorite plays on FanDuel? Well, my highest projected guys on FanDuel are going to be Elliott, Keselowski, Bell. I mean, same thing can pretty much be said for DraftKings as well. I expect them to be very popular. For the cheaper drivers, Eric Jones, LaJoy, and even Ross. I think Ross is too cheap on FanDuel, only $9,000. He projects pretty well for me today, so I do have plenty of interest in the Trackhouse cars, which they have ran pretty well at Atlanta so far. Yeah, done it from my heater. Appreciate that. Says, good morning, Chris. Oakley's going to learn to cry today. Larson's going to turn. Hopefully Oakley won't take it too hard heat. Okay. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to end up with too much Larson today, so I wouldn't be against a right turn, but I do appreciate the dono. Also got a dono from Michael here. It says 20 entry max. I have 5 drivers tied at 40% exposure. Bubba, LaJoy, Suarez, Jones, and Joey. Thoughts on that? Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. I think if you're trying to be overweight on Bubba, 40 is fine. Trying to be overweight on Joey, like 40. Jones, you're probably going to end up being underweight at 40%. I think he comes in mid-40s, depending what kind of contest you're in. If you're like in a large field 20 max, I think mid-40s is probably a decent ownership projection for Eric Jones. So if you're trying to be overweight on that, I don't think you're quite there. I like all the drivers though, but if you are trying to get positive leverage on the field, you're currently going to be most likely under on Jones, pretty even on LaJoy. So if you're really trying to take a stance on those guys, you probably need to up it, but I think your Bubba and Joey would be fine. Happy race day, Clint. Nice to see you as always. What's up, Ewok? It says, word on the street is Josh Bilicki woke up feeling fast. Not fast enough for the race, apparently. I know for some reason, this live stream has found the #1 BJ McLeod and #1 Josh Bilicki fans, and probably the only Josh Bilicki and BJ McLeod fans out. I guess we'll take pride in that. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Good morning, Spreader. What's up, Will? What's up, Michael? Michael says, 3 wide question, 3 must-haves, 3 to fade, and 3 to be contrarian. 3 must-haves today are probably, assuming we mean DraftKings, Eric Jones. This is really hard to avoid him. I mean, as long as he doesn't wreck immediately. Starting in 37th, this is the guy that can contend for a top 10. And he is dead last, and he's cheap. So Eric Jones would be #1. Really like Chase Elliott today. And then I would say either Keselowski or LaJoy. I mean, those are the guys that everyone's going to go to. So I would mix them around in your builds. Not saying you have to play all of them together. If you're playing cash games, yes, I think everybody is going to pick between 2 cash game lineups today. I'll go over that in a minute. 3 fades for me. I don't think I'm going to have a ton of Kyle Busch, which sounds scary to say. I'm not projecting him to finish poorly by any means. I believe I actually haven't met my I haven't projected to finish exactly 3rd, like I tell you guys. I have him at 8.63, but that's 3rd best, only behind Logano and Blaney. So I don't think he's going to suck today by any means. But for DFS purposes, at his price point, he is, where's he at? $9,700. I'm just having a really hard time to get there, so I don't think I'm going to have too much Kyle Busch. Probably not going to have a ton of Larson either. And then, as far as fades, probably won't have much Busher either. He's going to be really low owned is the thing, but those are some of the guys I am not planning on getting too much of. And then to be contrarian on. So I think it's pretty easy to get contrarian on some of the cheaper drivers today because I think most people will go with John Hunter Nemechek starting in 34th, and you have Carson Hocevar starting in 35th. Pretty easy just to land on those guys. I have them around 20-ish, 25% for projected ownership. If you were trying to get different on some of these cheap guys, I think there's really easy pivots to Zane Smith and Justin Haley, which in my projections, I only have them like a couple of points off, and they're going to be much lower owned, potentially maybe even half their ownership. Could be more depending on how much people really want to jam in Nemechek or how much other sites are propping those guys up. So Zane Smith, Justin Haley, even Kazgrala and Daniel Hemrick. I mean, those are really nice pivots to get to in the cheap range because it's really hard to get away from some of the more expensive chalk because they're chalk for a reason today. They're just starting so far back, unless they wreck, obviously, which is there's always the chance for that in the draft. Like, it's not a complete slam dunk like it would be like at a regular Las Vegas, and we had Chase Elliott starting 28th. But the cheap guys is where I like to get different. And then I also like the Trackhouse cars to be a contrarian. Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez. They're not going to be like unowned or anything, but at their price points, I really like the spots. Michael says, best fades are Joey, Blenny, and Brad or Chase, but question is, can you bring yourself to do it? Yeah, they're definitely the big dogs that are going to have some ownership today. Joey is very interesting because typically people don't want to play someone on the front row at these types of tracks, but Atlanta's been a different animal. We have seen the front row be optimal here before. We've seen the pole sitter, I believe, optimal twice. Once it was Joey in this race last year where he started in the pole, about 140 laps, and won the race. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy feat to do that, but if anybody can, I would say Joey's pretty much right up there with being the most likely candidate. So I will have Joey today for sure. I think his ownership probably comes in the 20s. So it's just a matter of you want to eat that or you think there's better ways to go because there's a lot of place differential. But if this is a really boring race where they get strung out and Joey just dominates half of it, and you're going to want him in your builds even though fast laps aren't going to rack up. Michael says, let's get that money. Let's go, Larson. I can't really say myself I'm rooting for Larson too much. He doesn't project awful. I got him at 34.5, but at his price point, I'm just having a really tough time to get there. FanDuel, I think if you're going to play him today, I think FanDuel looks a little bit better for me, but I just have other guys I'm getting to more. Got to pick our spots. What's up, Zach? What's up, Gab? Says God Emperor C-Pen. I like it. Justin says, boogity booty. Let's win some money, boys. Let's hope so. Hope so. We got about 2.5, 3 hours to lock. I've done it for man Gab. Appreciate that. It says, can you explain the differences in roster construction between large field and small field single entry GPPs if there is one? Love you. Bye. Appreciate it, Gab. I would say, are we talking like in general or just for like this week? I would say if it's large field, I mean, you definitely need more of a focus on trying to get different. Like for a single entry, if I'm playing a single entry, which on FanDuel I am, 45 people is the $50. It's going to change week to week on my roster construction. But since I'm only playing with 45 people, I'm playing with guys like Mock and all the guys that usually run cash builds for the most part. So you have to know like the kind of people you're going to be playing with. If they're all running cash builds, you can almost build a cash lineup and then just make a pivot or two. And that'll get you different enough because they're all running pretty much the same lineup. But if you're playing with 2,000 people, there's going to be a ton of people having weird lineups. So that's where I'm going to get maybe just a full-on different type of build where I'm not even touching some of the cash guys, or you're just playing a couple and getting different after that. So I would say the smaller builds you get, you can play more towards a cash build and then just make like one pivot. And the bigger you get, that's when you kind of get absolutely nuts. Like last week, I was in a 90-man $50, and I just ran the straight back guys. So, Mock and all those guys are in there, and they had Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. They're like at 70, 80%. I didn't have them. I just went because it's Daytona, so I didn't think there's any reason to play any of the chalk. I just played 36 on back. These guys are like at 5% owned for no reason, and even though some of them sucked, I mean, I had Hemrick at low ownership, and those guys and made up for it. I finished 5th or 4th in that, so. There's ways to get different, especially at a track like this where there could be some randomness for sure. Then from man Jorge says top 3 must-haves for DraftKings 20 max and top 3 drivers to avoid. If I'm building a 20 max, I mean I'm probably just building around Eric Jones. Corey LaJoie would be a staple of my builds as well. and then either Keselowski or Chase Elliott. I think that's a core to build around for sure. I mean, for them to not work out, they're going to have to wreck. And then 3 drivers to avoid. Not like a ton that really stand out to avoid. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't plan on getting that too much Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson. Just because I think the 4s are more likely to... If someone's going to dominate the race, I would think it's probably Joey. Maybe Blaney. But we will see. I mean, if Kyle Busch comes out, dominates, it's not going to be the end of the world. But it just depends where they finish. I just have a little bit more confidence in the Fords. But I'm not going to get to too much of the Chevys in the top 5 there. Chris Buescher, I probably won't get to too much of either. I am not going to play McDowell today. We'll see how that goes. If he's the one that dominates, he's going to have to hope he fades back at some point. Because look, if there's a guy that just completely cleans up the race for the first half, it's just going to be lap points because you're not racking up the fast laps. So if they don't finish amazing, I mean, you're not completely dead. Faded them. I was watching the first Atlanta race back last year, and I know Joey was absolutely killing it. And at one point, he faded back to, I think, around 10th to 15th, but he ended up getting back to the front. So a lot can happen. What's up, Rick? Good morning, CP and race family. Great, the NASCAR is back. Sure is. Sure is. Glad we actually have a Sunday race this time. What's up, Marie? Nice to see you. What's up, Pugsley? Favorite time of the week again. You know it. Over under on being late 5 minutes. I think I just hit the under. I think it was 12:19. So for the very few under bettors out there, congratulations. What's up, Johnny T? Brad for cash? Yeah, I think Brad's perfectly fine for cash. I'm pretty sure everyone today is playing Jones, Elliott, LaJoie, Bell, Keselowski, and that leaves you like Donner, Nemechek, or Carson. So far, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to use that in cash today. 10 on 4 minutes late. Hey, 4 minutes late was exactly Justin. So. Michael says I set my alarm for 11:20 knowing I had time. That's a good call. Good call. What's up, Mundo? Let's get this money. Who has a better chance to be a dominator today, Busch or Larson? Oh, what did I give him for laps led? I gave Kyle Busch 19.68 laps led. I gave Larson 19.83. I mean, they're about the same. Bit of a coin flip. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kyle Busch starts 2 spots further up. Maybe that helps him. And he's better at the drafting tracks than Kyle. Which, I'm not one to just completely talk about track history. I don't really think that means too much to the next gen car, but Larson is the co-favorite with Joey Logano right now. Insane to me. I mean, Larson is plus 800 on DraftKings with Logano, which is, I mean, Larson starts right beside Blaney. Blaney is incredible at these types of tracks. He's been really good at Atlanta, and he's plus 1,000. I don't know, that just seems a little odd to me. Not sure who is hammering Larson. But I guess they're doing it. Cindric, Blaney, Logano, let's go. Yeah, if you're doing a Penske stack, I mean, if they team up and they control the race and they finish up there, it's really possible. Next is I'm like an Elliott, Bell, and Kess. Yep, me as well, but I guess, but everyone will is too. So we're not alone there. I just got to the point where I went live, so. If you ask a question, I'll get there eventually, but I want to be fair and answer everybody's question. Michael says, wait, Chris, you were earlier than we expected, but you're not ready. Yeah, my bad. Brad for cash, yeah, answer that one. What's up, C. Mitch? Good morning, Chris, and all the NASCAR fam. Nice to have us all here. It's good times. Are you staying hydrated? I'm trying to. We're under a boiled water notice, so I gotta slum it out with the water bottles today. No mason jar. What's up, Josh? Thoughts on Kyle Busch and cash? That's very risky for me. I mean, I think Kyle Busch will be pretty low owned today. I don't think you need to go there in cash games. Definitely don't see a need for that. In cash games, I mean, you really should just stick with the safer place differential. Because And it's not like those guys are relying on wrecks or anything. Eric Jones can get there without a wreck. Chase Elliott can get there without a wreck. I'm not playing any of these place differential guys hoping for a big one. I mean, they can move to the field. So, I mean, really, I hope it's not a wreck fest today. We'll see what happens, though. Huh? What's up, C. Myers? Good afternoon, go. Worst chalk play in the slate or guy you want to be under the field on? Let me check my negative leverage here for some of the higher owned guys. I mean, I think the easiest guys to get underweight on that are going to be chalky are probably Nemechek and Hocevar. Not saying I don't like them, but I don't think there's a ton of difference between them and guys like Justin Haley, Gralla, Hemrick, those types. I mean, you can get half the ownership and they're basically the same play, I think. They're not going to look as good because they're not starting 35th or 34th, but I mean, they're right there with them, and I think the upside is somewhat similar. So I think that's probably the best way to get different today. Play some of the lower owned guys instead of the massive chalk guys in the back. Is Blaney too risky for cash? I personally wouldn't go there for cash. Personally, I mean, he's not the absolute worst cash play in the world, but I don't think there's a need for it. GPPs, yes. Playing Blaney today. Welcome to Ross Chastain Day, says Dave Palma. It could be. He doesn't project poorly for me at all. I got him for around 40. I'm definitely on Ross, $8,600. Cheap on FanDuel too. What's up, Bull? Says we in deep today. Yeah. Yeah, you told me you're running the gurney today, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it goes well. Mark says chalk for cash games today. I like Logano to lead a lot. I probably already answered you, but I mean the main guys: Jones, Elliott, LaJoy, Nemechek, Kowski, Bell. Very popular combination. And I like Logano to lead a lot, yeah. And also, I do the comment contest on my preview video, so if you have not done that yet, it's a free $25 if you win. You don't have to enter anything. All you gotta do is comment who you think will lead the most laps and how many laps. And the one that's closest, I'll let you know and I'll send you some money afterwards. So just do that after the streamer right now. I don't care. But no harm in entering. Florida looks good on you, brother. Appreciate that. Can't complain. Then from DL, says McDowell cash lock. Also, do you have any large? Can't answer the second one, unfortunately, although I think spread might know for reasons I can't really say. And no. Although I think you want me to say McDowell the cash lock, so I won't officially not say it, but you appreciate the dono. Just for said, what do you guys think of this lineup for DraftKings? Nemechek, LaJoy, Bell, Keselowski, McDowell, and Logano. I'm not sure I love the front row together. I mean, I'm not. It's been optimal before, but that was like Elliott, Chastain. I don't want to trash McDowell or anything. Obviously, he's got a fast car, and I guess they get some Penske help these days. But I'm not sure I love them together. Rest looks pretty good. I mean, if you're comfortable with the front row there, I mean, the build's pretty good. Them together is a bit iffy. Like Chastain, Elliott, and Busch. Yeah, I'm not the highest on Busch just because of the starting position, but I mean, he doesn't project. I got him for 33.5 points. I gave him 20 laps led, 8.63 projected finish, which is third behind Blaney and Logano. So I don't want to trash him. It's just how the projections shake out. He's nearly $10,000, so he's really got to hit that ceiling as far as dominating the race and finishing up front. Bull says, tell Oakley Uncle Bull needs help today. I'll see what he whipped up on the projections. We'll check the Oakley sheet after he's done with lunch. Any Money says, hey Chris, looking dapper today, sir. Appreciate that. Top 3 GPP plays, and maybe if you want top 3 fades, thank you and good luck. I've already mentioned the fade, so GPP plays I like a lot are, and I've already mentioned this, but play some Zane Smith, Daniel Hemrick. Play some Kaz Gralla down there, Justin Haley, get away from some of the hosts of our Nemechek chalk. And then GPP plays, if you're not playing Logano, Byron, those kind of guys, play Ryan Blaney, play Austin Cindric, You're trying to get exposure to some of the Penske cars. I like Ross Chastain a lot, Suarez. And they're not going to be unowned or anything, but they're not going to be like mega chalk. Some of the guys I'm targeting. Here it says GP thoughts: Logano, Kez, Bubba, Jones, LaJoy, and Nemechek. I like the build, depending on what kind of size contest you're in. It's going to be a chalky lineup though, but I mean, I like every single driver you mentioned. Pugsley says I went Blaney, Byron, Keselowski, Jones, LaJoy, and Smith. How'd I do? Is it too backloaded? No, I think that's fine. Blaney's close to the front. Byron's, he's like almost top 10. And obviously both those guys could run the front of the pack. Surprised at all. Keselowski should work through the field. Jones is a free play. Joy's kind of a free square. And Zane Smith gets you kind of off that Nemechek host of our range. So I think that's a pretty good build. Happy NASCAR fun day, fellas. Right back to you, Obi. Right back to you. Isaiah says Reddick, Byron. Haven't seen Reddick yet. Truex, Busher, Elliott on FanDuel. What do you think? It definitely gets you different. I don't think it's a bad looking build. I personally haven't gotten to any Busher. Let me see what I haven't predicted on FanDuel. It might be a better play over there for draft. Yeah, it's not like I really have Busher projected poorly. It's just mainly the starting position that kind of dragging him down. But I don't hate it. Did you have Keselowski in that? No, you didn't. Disregard me, but I gotta build my FanDuel single entry. I am in like I said, a lot of their stuff filled, so I'm not in some of the stuff that I want to be. If I'm gonna play like a chalk build, if I was playing like a chalk build on FanDuel, I would probably start with Elliott, Bell, Keselowski. That would leave you just under $8,000 left for the last two spots. And I'd play Eric Jones at 72, which gives me 83 left, which puts you in the range of Chris Buescher. Alex Bowman, Tyler Reddick, Austin Cindric. You want to leave a lot of money on the table, Suarez. So you can pretty much build whatever you want on FanDuel if you go that route. It gets a little bit more expensive if you talk about Blaney, Logano types, but I think my highest projected was using Bowman after that, but I'm not sure I want. Nothing much, Obi, just chilling. Answering all your questions. They've been good so far. Giving me a challenge. Yeah, it is a pretty chunky lineup for Beard. I mean, depending on the contest size, but it is really chunky. Do I think Haley plus 12,000 is when it's worth the risk? No, I don't personally. I have the fair odds for that right around. Wait, yeah, I'm not. No, I wouldn't personally bet that. Johnny says, "Sup, Chris? Which combo do you like better in cash games? Hamlin, Keselowski, or Byron Bell? FanDuel play? Well, I think I'd want probably Hamlin, Keselowski. Very close. Although I would probably try to find a way to play Keselowski and Bell together. But I guess I'd pick the first one if I had to. Spread says, Peter, I'd worry about the shifter engine filling out of that wear car. I hope not. Hope it doesn't today. I need some Haley magic and some lineups. Mark says, do you set groups similar to Daytona? I do not for Atlanta, just because I don't think we know enough about Atlanta to set groups. So I'm personally not letting the optimizer fly today. Josh Williams a good value play. I wish he was starting a little bit further back. I mean, where is he starting again? 30th? He is in a colleague car though, which is good. We know they can run well with these types of tracks, but I just wish he was starting a little bit further back. Trying to see what I have him graded out for. Yeah, I mean, I got him optimal close to 5% of the time. Ownership should be pretty similar to that. Got a dono from Brandon Roberts. Appreciate that. Says, on DraftKings, my lineup is Austin Cindric, Eric Jones, Corey LaJoy, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, and Bob Wallace. Should I change anything? If it's for GPPs, I think that's fine. I mean, Jones, LaJoy, that's chalk. Bubba's not like extreme chalk. I don't mind that for GPPs. Daniel Suarez in the same boat. Logano, decent ownership. I like him being paired up with Austin Cindric because I don't think anyone will play Austin Cindric. Probably less than 10% of the field. So I think that's a pretty good GPP build. I mean, you're going to need Penske to run towards the front there with Cindric and Logano string close up, but I don't mind that. I do appreciate the donut. What's up, Ryan? Says, hey, Chris, what's up, man? We're the must-play Dom lap leaders and chalk guys for cash games today. Let's get that win. I mean, it's still not a regular track where we care a ton about the Dominators, but as far as the top Doms today for me, I have it Logano, Byron, Blaney, Elliott, Kyle Busch, those kind of guys. And what was the other part? And the chalk guys for cash. I probably already answered that for you, but I mean, Jones, LaJoy, Elliott, pretty much the cash game staple today. You ready for Larson to lead 50? I mean, you can't rule it out. You can't rule it out. We'll see if he finishes. Something always seems to happen to him. My stance today, probably just going to be pretty heavy in some of these guys we've already talked about. But I do like Trackhouse, Suarez, and Chastain quite a bit. And I like some of those lower-owned guys in the back. I'm so far behind in chat. I'm trying to answer, so I don't want to repeat myself 30 times. Thoughts on Keselowski? I like him a lot, but he's going to be high owned, probably close to 40% today. I have him, I think, 36, 37% ownership. Not myself, what I think the field will be at. Yeah, I got him at 36.9, so I mean, he's going to be very chalky and good at Atlanta, good at drafting tracks. Should be quite popular, especially at that price. It's kind of low at $9,300. Logano, Blaney, Busch, McDowell, Cloud, the GOAT, and Cindric for all the cannabis and snacks in Rocky Mountain. That is really a lot of drivers starting up front. I can't say I would do that. Definitely be different, though. Do we need a Dominator or mostly place differential plays? You don't necessarily need a Dominator. I don't hate it if you throw in some in some lineups. Like, I will have Logano exposure. I'll have Ryan Blaney. I have where's some other guys starting up top? Pull this up by qualifying order. So the guys on the top, like 15, I have interest in. Logano, Busch, and Larson ever so slightly, but I'll be underweight there. Blaney I like a lot. Cindric I'll have some, and then Byron and a little bit of Truex. But you don't necessarily need to build for Dominators because some of these guys that are starting mid-pack, or even in the 20s, could get up front at some point. Like if we see Chase Elliott dominate a certain portion of this race, I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised if we see Keselowski up front starting in 24th. I don't think that'd be awful either. Do you think they'll race safe to avoid wrecks because half the field can't afford to wreck out again? I mean, I don't really think they care about that too much in Cup. But I don't really think this is going to be the most exciting race in the world. If they get strung out and run single file for a while, I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, these guys, they'll trash their equipment if they want to. I don't care too much. But I mean, I wouldn't expect there to be really a ton of wrecks. If there is going to be a ton of wrecks, I'd probably expect that to be more so stage 3. I could see them riding around for a while, though. No reason to really junk anything up early on. So, and I'm not saying this is going to be Xfinity because it's a completely different car and stuff like that. But man, that was a snoozer race. Sucked. Although I missed the ending, and I guess everybody ran out of fuel. That was kind of fun, I guess. But the parts I watched was just pretty bad. Got done from main man Spray. Says, will Blaney be meta today? Go 12? I know you want him to be. I mean, I got the shirt on. We got the flag in the back, but you got me. Appreciate that. But I have a bet on him to win at 12-1, so I wouldn't be against Blaney being meta today. Hoping one of the Penske guys take it home. That is for sure. Palmer says, Cash, Logano, Elliott, Bell, Jones, Joy. Who would your last guy be in with 6K left? 6K flat? Well, we can't afford Nemechek. No, since we can't afford Nemechek there, I would say host of our. Joey and Cash is interesting. Like, I can see reasons for it. I think it'd be safer if you just went to, like, Keselowski, though. If you did that, you could afford Nemechek. But if you're, like, locked in on Logano and Cash, for that lineup, I would say host of our. Underdog, you can take Joey Logano over under for the 6.5 finish. I pretty much have him right there. Let me see what his odds are for a top 5 currently. Plus 100, I mean. Odds wise, I don't really like taking the under on that. I've Chastain in the top 3. What do you think? Top 3 finishers? Top 3 in your exposures? I mean, I like Ross today. Just need to clarify more what you mean specifically, but I like Ross. Maybe that'll answer your question. What are the odds McDowell leads 80 plus laps and you need him? For McDowell to lead 80 plus laps, I would say it's pretty unlikely. I couldn't give you an exact percentage on that happening. But let's say McDowell did lead 80 laps. I mean, depending where he finishes, you know. Because in that price range for McDowell, he's 7,700. You have Ty Gibbs in 25th, Stenhouse in 27th, Suarez in 23rd, and you have Jones in 37th. Like, the path for those guys to be optimal instead of McDowell are much easier. McDowell has to have a lot go right. Eric Jones doesn't really need anything to go right. He just needs to not wreck out, you know. So I would say the odds are pretty low for that. Chuck says, good afternoon. Host of our Nemechek at Overowned. Thanks. I think they could be. They're definitely going to get majority of the ownership in the back. But you have other guys that I think are pretty similar plays that won't have near the ownership. Come on, God says, where'd you get that grilled cheese? Danny. Let's get a win for the dogs. Grilled cheese, Danny. I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what that means. I'm just going to hope it's good. Michael says, thanks, Chris. I think I'll raise one higher and fade the other, just a matter of what I decide by the end of the race. Yeah, no problem. I mean, we got plenty of time to tinker with our builds. Well, since I think we all like BJ. Hockey Freak Sean says, good luck all. Good luck to you as well. My God is saying someone in this chat is taking down a tourney. Let's hope so. Hope so. We got about 400 people here, so I mean, someone out there. They might not be talking, but someone out there might do it. Mike says, what would your strategy be for a super small field, 89 people with 10 places paid? I mean, I would have probably like half a cash build and then get some pivots in there. That's probably what I would do. Probably what I'm going to do in my 45 man. Mark says I finished 5th out of 71,000 at Daytona. Missed $20,000 by 12 points. Hey, well, 5th place out of 71,000. Still pretty good. So give yourself a pat on the back. Happy for you. But that does hurt, being so close. Roshan says, Eric Jones, Keselowski, LaJoy, Reddick, Bowman, Bell, thoughts? Nothing against the roster construction. I mean, once you get in that mid-pack, there are so many guys that are like the same exact play. You have Bubba in 18th, Ross in 21st, Reddick in 19th, Bowman in 17th. Like, they're basically all the same. It's really hard to distinguish between them. So I'm fine with that build. Can you roster Joey and Blaney in the same lineup? I think so. They should work together. And if they finish 1-2, might not be optimal because Blaney's really expensive and he's starting 6th, finished like 2nd, and doesn't dominate because there's so much place differential that could come through. So, like, let me look at the heat map here, just a scenario. So Blaney finished 2nd today. That would be 46 points without any Dominator points. I'm not sure how many he would get in that scenario. You say like 50, 52. Say you let some laps. For Elliott to surpass that, to get over 52 points, he just has to finish 10th. And I'm sure he's going to get some fast laps mixed in there as well. So if just to get 46, then we're talking a top 13. Got to consider that. And it's not like, again, these place differential guys, it's not like we're playing, and we're playing BJ McLeod, Cody Ware, or the only way these guys are getting there is if there's a massive wreck. Like, Jones can move through the field. LaJoy is going to move through the field. They don't necessarily need absolute chaos by any means. Mark says, I'm getting 2 DOMs and stacking from mid-teens to 30th, and that's fine. I mean, we have seen builds like that work in the past here at Atlanta so far. Very small sample size, but it can work. John says, Larson had a long night, ran sprint in SLM. Yeah, he's a crazy man. He's very good at what he does, though. I like Harrison today to be different. Definitely makes you different. I mean, nobody is going to play him. I believe my ownership, projected ownership for him was like, like 2%. Wouldn't surprise me if he's the lowest owned in the field, especially since he was the first guy that wrecked out last week at Daytona for recency bias sake. He'll definitely be very different if he can hook up with the Penske boys. Help him out if he stays alive. What's up, Kenny? I was so close last week. The last wreck killed me. Yeah, I mean, the big one at Daytona, I mean, it's a lot of luck based. You gotta hope your guys are just not in it. But sorry that happened. It was a pretty clean race. Some of the racing for the stage end was pretty good, but I mean, you could just feel that wreck coming at the very end. They were 3 wide and they were just getting too racy. Always happens at some point at Daytona. We got it late, but it happened, and it was a massive wreck. Minnie says, have a hunch this is going to be a Larson race from 2 years ago where he runs the race 6 to 8 car lengths in front of the field. But I don't really think that'll happen here at Atlanta with the drafting track. Maybe next week at Las Vegas, though. That is certainly possible. Don says, I'm going Elliott, Jones, LaJoy, Hamlin, Larson. I don't really have a problem with any of those guys. At FanDuel, I only see 5, so I'm assuming it is, but definitely don't mind that. And he says, consider joining CPenn's Discord chat for only $10 a month. Always great seeing new faces in there. Thank you for the ad, Andy. Yeah, if you guys want to come in, check it out. Then I have all the extra content over on Patreon as well. Check that out. Sam says, any love for Cindric, Blaney, or Hemrick on DraftKings? Yeah, I like all 3. All 3 are 100% in play. The Chaos said, Larson tied with Logano is the favorite. Interesting. I thought so too. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, I get everyone likes to bet Larson. And it looks like the odds just updated, I think. I'm on the right page here. Yeah, Logano's now at 750. Larson at 800. Also, Larson minus 280. Betting top 10s at DraftKings just do if you're betting heavy favorites. Hello, Miss Jules, and happy anniversary as well. 11 years. I give that a shout out. And they're at the pool right now, so enjoy the pool. Thoughts on Zane Smith? I like Zane today. Nothing wrong with him. If you want to get off some of that host of our Nemechek talk, that's fine. Got over 400 of you here. Appreciate y'all chilling with me on your Sunday. Got about, what, 2? When's log? 3? Pretty sure. Yeah. I think log's at 15. I like Cindric on DraftKings today. Says he's a good GPP play, I think. I mean, he always tends to do well at these tracks, and he was right there at the end of Daytona. But Ross Chastain, I guess, had other ideas. Michael says, "Who's my favorite low-owned Ford?" Love you, Chris. Thanks for everything you do. Go Blue Oval. Appreciate that, Michael. Probably my favorite low-owned Ford of guys that have name relevant is probably Austin Cindric. I think a lot of these Fords are going to be chalky. Keselowski will be chalky. Blaney Logano will have ownership. I'd probably say Cindric. I mean, he's starting in 8th. Not a lot of people are going to go there, but he knows how to run up front at these types of tracks. So I can get on the Cindric train. As long as he doesn't wreck out, I mean, he should be there. Shark says, people think you got to get different everywhere and really just need to get different 1 or 2 places. Yeah, I mean, especially it depends on your contest selection. Also, Shark, I have to send you money, sir. So send me your information at some point, please. I don't want to jip you out. So just remind me. some point. Got an alert from spread there. Appreciate that. Yeah, I see that. I am very far behind, aren't I? Scroll down really quick. I see you got a donut from Man Pugsley. Blaney Byron. Joy or Ross Suarez. All right, I like the start of that build, and the rest would be Keselowski or LaJoy or Ross and Suarez. Keselowski LaJoy is definitely going to be much chalkier, I would say. Projection-wise, it's Keselowski LaJoy. If you're strictly looking for lower ownership, I would say Ross and Suarez. Man, I am way behind in the chat, aren't I? Mundo says, thoughts on Gibbs? I don't really have like a strong stance on Ty Gibbs today. He projects for me right around 30-ish points. Got him projected to finish mid-teens, late teens. Like he's like 4x value. He's there. Whatever the optimizer gives you is what I'm pretty much going to do with Gibbs today. Todd from Texas says, looks like the field is sleeping on BJ. It's our time to shine. Yeah, the BJ McLeod fan club here apparently. Although in the duel race, he was kind of cleaning up shop for a bit. Ended up making a mistake though and fell to the back. Charles says, favorite high price driver on FanDuel. You're by far the best YouTuber on NASCAR DFS. Probably do appreciate it. Thank you. There's not many out there, so it's not like we have too much competition, but I do appreciate it. Favorite high price driver on FanDuel for me, it's going to be Chase Elliott. Starting in 28th. He's just really easy to get to. Him or Keselowski. Pretty much flip a coin on those two. Mark says avoid Larson, McDowell, and Gilly. Yeah, those are guys I'm not getting to either. Keep Chris hydrated at all costs. Zane Smith, I like Zane. Ender says, I have a hard time playing drivers over 40% owned like Elliott and Jones. Do you think you have to have them today? It's tough not to. I mean, they're, especially for Elliott. Jones. Elliott, I mean, there's definitely pivots you can get from. He's going to project the best of anybody. But I mean, there's other guys that project pretty similar. I mean, you have Keselowski and Bell right there who should be a little bit lower owned. You also have like Logano, Byron, Blaney that you can get to as well. Eric Jones, on the other hand, he is really cheap. He's really good at drafting tracks, and he's starting dead last. So it's kind of a gimme. Unless he's like the first one that wrecks, sure. But if not, should be a top 15 contender today. Thoughts on the lawnmower, man? I like him today. Daniel Suarez projects very well for me. Definitely someone I'm looking to get to. I might play him in my single entry build as well my main. We'll see on that. Still deciding. Hydration is a big part of the hair and makeup process. Don't worry, it sure is. Got to get an IV in me when we're doing it. Bugley says, after hearing Chris talk, I feel like my lineups are too chalky today. It's hard to get away from some of that chalk. I mean, they are just. I mean, Jones, dead last. Elliott, nearly in 30th. Keselowski, Bell, and they're just too cheap for where they're starting. So, I mean, there's a lot of chalk out there today, and it is hard to avoid. Conscious says, I'm Andy also, a lot of Andrews here. For sure. DK Cash, Elliott, Keselowski, Chastain, Suarez, Jones, and the Joy. I don't dislike it by any means. I would probably play. I mean, it's a good build. The one I like a lot is like Bell and like a Nemechek, but I wouldn't like off of that one either. Muda says, how many potential Dominators would you put in a lineup? I would say anywhere from like 0 to 2 today, I guess. I don't think you have to have a Dom. If you wanted to go with like a Blaney Logano build, I could see that working too. If you want to just go with Joey and place differential, I would say 0 to 2, but it's kind of weird builds for Atlanta. Next week, though, we're going to go back to like, hey, I want 2 Doms in my lineup. I need some laps led. I need some fast laps. I want some guys starting close to the front. I want those fast laps. So definitely looking forward to next week. And for those of you new to NASCAR, the racing is not going to be anything like you see these first 2 weeks. I mean, we're not going to be drafting anymore, and it's just going to be like, hey, the best cars are going to go out there. They're going to dominate. And it's going to probably be a little bit more boring. Well, not sure Atlanta's going to be too amazing either today. We will see, though. I know last year's Atlanta race, when the rain was coming, The racing was pretty awesome, but the one earlier in the season wasn't great. Conscious says I love race day better than NFL and DFS world. And NASCAR DFS is just a different type of feeling. It's fun. Tim says all Ford lineup, starting on the outside row, 2, 4, 6, so on. So at this point, it's all guessing with all the chalk. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I do hope they control the show today over some of the Chevys. I just need Ford to win and I'd be happy, I think. G Black says, which chalk drivers do you like the least? Looking to be underweight, but the few to get different. I would say Nemechek and Hocevar are probably the easiest to get away from. And not that I dislike Chase Elliott by any means, but there's just so many pivots, price range right around them. And he says, please hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. Helps a lot. That is true. Just go a long way. Juan says, Chris, Kyle Larson for the win. Hendrick continues the hot streak. Maybe. I don't know. I'd be kind of surprised if Larson won the race. It'd be a luck change, that's for sure, at Atlanta. Brett says, saw a few bad handling trucks. It's when you get lapped. Never could get it back. Bit word 30 on back. Yeah, let's hope that doesn't really happen in Cup. Be kind of lame. We'll see, though. Anything good on prize picks? I just hate prize picks for these types of tracks. Like, because a lot of it's just like, well, I can't really factor in the Dominator points too much. Lap sled's going to be a bit iffy. So I don't really like anything on prize picks again. Next week, when we actually get a track that we can project to a decent degree, it'll be a little bit better. I don't think the Joey lap sled at 52.5 is the worst thing in the world. Like, if they can control the race, I do think he'll get over 50. Blenny at 40.5 points is somewhat interesting, but a lot of these numbers I am pretty close on anyway. I'm going to have a hard time getting there. In fast laps, I mean, if you're betting on fast laps, crazy. What's up, Sarah? Good morning from Mississippi. Hopefully all is well there. Logano 100 laps laid. Very popular pick over on the YouTube today. So if Joey does indeed lead the most laps, I got a lot of work to do reading my comments and figuring out who was the closest. Yeah, if Chris isn't drinking water out of a mason jar, is this chat even real? Probably not. Probably not. Atlanta doesn't deserve the mason jar anyway. I hate this place now. I miss the cheese grinder days of where the tires are going to fall apart. How I feel about the new Atlanta? Well, I guess I just answered that. Yeah, I hate it. I don't like it. I like high tire wear tracks. So, sad they took it away. I mean, like I said, the one race was good last year when there was a threat of rain, but I'd rather just have old Atlanta back. Harvicking around the bottom, conserving his tires. Good times. Any optimizer rules / groups today? I mean, I'm like 20-30% randomness is pretty much all I would do. Groups, I don't really feel comfortable using any groups. And then uniques is kind of your own personal preference. And really nothing crazy today like last week. Hamlin or Bell for cash and FanDuel. I would go with Christopher Bell there. I would say pretty close, similar finishing position upside, but you get close to double the spots further back with Christopher Bell. For tournaments, how many guys would use in the same lineup in the top 10 for DraftKings? Thanks, Chris. I was very happy last week. My boy won the 500. Gonna be back to back. It's definitely been a good track for him, Ernest. He's won 2 out of the 4 races here. Definitely got a leg up on the field, it seems like. How many guys would I use in the top 10, though, on DraftKings? In like one lineup, I would say probably no more than 2. A max of 3. Like, I could see if you want to go with a full Penske stack plan, Logano, Blaney, Cindric, but I would say 2 is probably the highest I would maybe. What's up, Truth Teller? Has Chris had Taco Bell yet? No, I have not. I don't plan on having Taco Bell yet. playing Trackhouse for cash too thin. I don't think it's the worst. I don't think it's going to be super popular to do that in cash, though. I do like both. I'm not saying that, Sniper. This is your first race, says Truth Teller? Like, are you actually going, or is it like your first time playing NASCAR DFS? Atlanta kind of sucks, though. This is your first race. Thoughts on Willie B? I like him today. I got him optimal like in the mid-20s. He's right there with all the other high-price guys like Logano, Blaney. They're all for me. But he's a little bit safer starting at 11. Blaney, Elliott, Haley, Jones, Keselowski, LaJoy. Okay for DraftKings single entry GPPs. Blaney, he's up front. So you got up front, which is fine. Elliott, place differential. Haley, yeah, that's fine. I have an issue with that. What's up, Jason? No groups for me today. Michael Paul says, how much is too much to leave on the table? I don't really say there's a set limit today. It's not like Daytona where I'm leaving like 20,000 on the table, but you can leave some. I wouldn't say there's like a really a set number. I'll pull up my optimizer. I'm not going to put anything on here besides randomness, 30%. And then we'll put 150 really quick, and let's see how much the average salary used is. Well, that's running on. It already ran. Statistics on that. The average salary used is 49,600. So likes to use most of the salary, which I get because it's jamming in Elliott, Keselowski, and Bell a ton, and they're all in the 9K range, I believe. So it makes sense. So if you are trying to get different, I mean, leaving money on the table is definitely a decent way to go. Like one of the top builds here, that leaves nearly $2,000 on the table. And you're still playing Elliott, Keselowski, Bell, Jones, LaJoy, which is extremely chalky, but then at the end it throws in Casgrala, who should be pretty low owned today. Leave about 2,000 on the table, and still a good looking lineup. You still got some chalk, but it's got that one pivot option where if anything happens to John Hunter, Osavar, any of those guys, then Casgrala ends up succeeding, starting in 33rd. Basically the same play. I mean, he doesn't project quite as well. He's just a couple of points off, but decent way to get different. We're still playing the best plays on paper. Bull says 6,800 and below on FanDuel. Highest for me that's below 6,800 is Corey LaJoy. If you already have him, it would be Ty Gibbs and then Stenhouse. Jason says, how do you like Brad over Larson, Ross over Bubba, and Hamlin over Logano? I would say I probably like Brad over Larson by the end of the day. Ross over Bubba is a toss-up. I don't really have a good answer for that one. I believe next to each other in projections, and I would take Joey over Hamlin. Yes, I do remember Jason. I do. I hope it worked out as well. But good to see you again. What's up, Aaron? Says Chris, I didn't get a chance to watch last week, so first time talking to you since last year. It's good to see you, Aaron, as always. Happy race day, bud. Is your boy Blaney going to win? He might. I wouldn't be against it. Got the shirt today. Got him to win. One of the few guys, but I got Joey as the projected winner, but I mean, obviously there's 30 some other cars that can cross victory lane today. And for the record, when I say I have guys projected to win, I have the guy projected to win 9.6% of the time. I got Blaney projected to win 8.8%. No problem, Mark. Bad idea to play Joey and Blaney in the same GPP build? I wouldn't say so. I don't think it's the worst idea as long as you can put in some other place differential with it since you're going top heavy up top, but I think it's fine. Just expensive is the only issue. Truth says, I bet cash. I have Larson, Byron, Elliott, and Bowman to win, and then push Chastain and Suarez for third. But I wish you the best of luck. I'm definitely on the other side of that. I'm on the Ford side, so I'm sure one of us will win with those drivers. Thoughts on a Jones fade, or is he too good of a play on DraftKings? Jones is a really tough fade for me. Like, he's almost a free square. I mean, sure, anybody can wreck, but if Jones finishes, let's look at the heat map here. Just scenarios. If Jones finishes 20th today, he will get roughly 40 some points, and that's just for 20th. Looking at how he's ran at Atlanta, the previous 4 races, which again, small sample size, don't draw too much to it. But he's finished in the top 15 4 to 4 times. In the top 10 twice, in the top 5 once. Average finish of 9.3, running position of 16th. So if he hit his average finish, which is not how you should go to lineups, the average finish. But we're talking like 60-some points. His running position, on average, would net you close to 50. Like, it's just going to be tough for Jones to suck today. It's not like he was slow. He lost his car a couple of times making a quality lap. Nemechek worth a shot? Like to play? I mean, yeah, I'd play him in DFS. To win, no, but... Haley or Zane Smith? That's pretty close in projections. I think I have Justin Haley a little... No, I don't actually. I have Zane Smith slightly higher than Haley there. Slightly higher. Brandon says, also did DraftKings with Hendrick, all 3 except Larson. He just doesn't seem to run good at super speedways. That he does not. Absolutely horrendous for some reason. Ty says, go Denny, go. You know, I'm always rooting for Denny usually. Although I think I'll probably be a little bit underweight today at the price. We'll see how much he fits. I haven't built yet. I like to build last second because it doesn't give me the opportunity to switch my builds. And it's like, well, I switched off the winning lineup. I'd rather just get my lineups in with 5 minutes to go and then whatever happens, happens. But, yeah, Denny's right up there with me, one of my favorite drivers, him and Ryan Blaney. Appreciate that, Shark. I don't know if you commented, didn't show up, but if you can just send me your info so I can send it over to you, I'll need to make sure I can do that. Because I was waiting for it the one day. I didn't see it yet, though. But I want to make sure you get compensated. Hamlin could be a dark horse. I did take Logano on one of mine. I wouldn't qualify him as a dark horse. For DFS, you mean, or to win? Because he is one of the favorites. And for DFS, I do think he'll probably be around 20% ownership. I'm not sure dark horse is probably the right term for it, but he won't be as popular as some. Sure. Raphael says, who were the 2 you were looking at for starting from the back? I mean, LaJoy and Jones, some of the cheaper guys in the back that are going to be hard to miss. Jack says, just dropping to tell you that Kyle Busch is running today. Boy, I hope he doesn't. Yeah, Elliott's in the back today. Chris, who your 2 to 3 must plays for Dom potential? Top Dom potential for me is Logano. Logano, Blaney, and Byron. Busch and Elliott are at the top 2. Will says, are Blaney fans in the bathtub this year? Oh, something. We'll see. Just Jeff says, hey, Chris, do you bet NASCAR matchups? If so, what do you like this week? I don't usually. I usually just try to get some value on some outrights. Try to beat the line movement earlier in the week. But I did not do any of the matchups. Especially for like a super speedway. Like, it doesn't interest me too much. If it's a normal track, then we can actually have like a decent edge. Sure. But none this week for me. Thoughts on Team Jordan? Like 2311 Racing? That's what you mean? I mean, I like them. I love Denny Hamlin, so I got to root for them. This is the first race you ever watched. Already bet a bunch on it. Good luck. What's up, Pope? Jumping in late. No problem. I was late to my own live stream. What's lineup construction for FanDuel today? You pretty much similar to DraftKings to where you're going to want a decent amount of place differential, I think, because those Dom points don't mean much on FanDuel. You're only getting the 0.1. So optimal for me on FanDuel was, not saying I want to play this exact lineup, but Elliott, Keselowski, Bell, Jones, then guys like Bowman, Bubba, Reddick. My guys populate quite a bit. Jack says, this dude's skin be glowing. Hashtag respect. Appreciate it, Jack. Want to get in the W today? I hope so. I wouldn't be against it. Chris says, based on the Xfinity and truck race, looked like passing was kind of tough. slightly fade the place differential this week. I mean, it's not going to be the same as Xfinity and trucks, but the good cars should be able to move to the field a bit. But it's definitely not going to be like Daytona, that type of passing. And I'm certainly more inclined to play the guy starting closer to the front this week than I was last. So I guess maybe slightly yes to answer your question. Logano, Byron, Larson, Dylan, LaJoy, and Gillen. Gillen's going to make you very unique there. I don't think anyone's going to play Gillen today. Although I do know someone in my Discord's playing like 20% of it. He's a crazy man, though. Jay Swift says, do you stack a Cindric and Logano bill with Brad K? You can, although if you're stacking, I mean, Blaney would make Penske stack. Although I feel like Brad Keselowski is basically Penske with his builds. Logano pass-through penalty? Sorry, I'm getting an update from Bull in the chat. He's calling me, but won't let me answer. Wouldn't let me answer, Bull, but okay, he says Logano pass-through penalty. So let me just go back down to the chat. That definitely changes some things. Logano's in the rear? Ooh, that sucks. Well, yeah, that definitely hurts Logano's potential. I got you, Bull. I got you. I got you. Thank you, man. That definitely changes things. I certainly would lower probably my Joey exposure. I mean, he could still get up front at some point, but the benefit to playing Joey was he's gonna be in the front row. We've seen it where they can probably hold the position. So yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't play him in cash now. That just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that sucks. Sucks for the bet too. I mean, you can still get there at the end, but for DFS purposes, downbidding is going to be a lot tougher. So if you are over on the Patreon, I'll be updating projections. Definitely can't have him be in the top lap later. Also, if you're over on Prize Picks, if that number is still up at 52.5, I would say taking the under on that would make a lot of sense because having a prop 52.5 is based on him starting in the front row. So if you get him in the rear, yeah, if you're playing Prize Picks, that's probably the best prop bet you can make. Not saying you can't get back up front, but I would say it's, well, they took it down. So never mind. Yeah, that's gonna kill Joey. Oh yeah, and I was had in my mind we're talking Daytona where he's not gonna really get killed. So yeah, that actually, yeah, at a mile and a half track, that's gonna kill him. Yeah, projections are definitely gonna get updated. I scrolled to the bottom of the chat, but yeah, Joey going to the rear definitely kind of kills. So I'll tell you guys what I had Joey projected for beforehand. It was so I had Joey finishing 6.75, which was my projected winner. 41.33 in the projection, 4x value, 41 placement points. I gave him 9.5 Dominator points, 40 laps led, which is pretty conservative. But yeah, that's gonna go down for sure. So once I get off the stream here, I'll have this updated. We still have how much time to lock? Hour and a half. So yeah. So if you were thinking about playing Joey for cash, I would not recommend doing that now. He is in a big hole to start this race. Really sucks for the betting. So I was kind of banking on Joey there. All right, let me check Twitter. Yeah, just saw the tweet from NASCAR. 22 car would. Okay. Jeff Gluck says, "Whoa, I've never seen this before from NASCAR. Logano will serve an at-track penalty at the start of the race for his gloves not meeting SFI specification." For gloves? How do you get a penalty for gloves? Let me see. Yeah, projections will be updated over on Patreon, so they're not final right now. Logano is going to take a bit of a dip. I don't really see a reason to play Logano at this point. Anyway, the whole reason to play Logano is because he had track position and could control the race. Don't see that happening now at this point. stupid though. Like, gloves. I figured it was something with the car. No, the guy's got bad gloves. Oh, that's something else. Well, I'll tell you right now that I guess that makes things easier for guys like Kyle Busch and Larson. Because, I mean, Joey's a tough guy to get around super speedways. So, I posted link info on the penalty. That's the tweet from Bob. Elliott to the rear. Yeah, Elliott to the rear is fine. I'm reading Bull's giving me updates on the deck. Yeah, I don't care about Elliott going to the rear as long as there's no penalty. Gloves were expired. Yeah, what does that even mean? Gloves? You have to go to the rear and serve a penalty for your gloves? That's kind of insane. Yeah, I mean, I would say this definitely makes things a little bit easier for... Yeah. Gonna be a lot of people in my video that watch Logano and me talk him up, and they're gonna be like, why is he starting on the rear? This guy's an idiot. Who would you swap to as a direct swap if you had no time to do it later? Probably just Blaney. Didn't already have him. I mean, if you guys wanted a direct swap off of Logano, I mean, you could just go to Blaney. He's $100 less. Huh, that's fun. Interesting. Sorry, I was reading Discord. Yeah, I've never heard about gloves. That's kind of funny. 460 of you here. Appreciate y'all. I'm just checking Bob's Twitter to see if I missed anything else news-wise. Yeah, I mean, dropping to the rear wouldn't like be a killer for Logano, but the whole pass-through penalty is gonna really suck. I mean, I think at some point he'll be. I think at some point he should be in the lead lap, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Definitely makes things a lot tougher. And Michael McDowell makes his life a little bit easier as well. So might be slightly more interested in Michael McDowell. Yeah, fun. So I can't go too much longer in the live stream because I do have to update projections. Unfortunately, I was going to just go here until I answered every single question. Lots of people in chat. Elliott's not a bad play now. Him going to the rear doesn't mean anything. He was already back there anyway. He's just losing a few spots. Doesn't have to do a pass or penalty, to my knowledge. So I don't think Kess and Eric Jones are bad chalk today. Do not. The DK experience says, I can't believe how much a $4 DraftKings lineup made Daytona amazing. It can power DFS and make stuff fun. Yeah, I mean, this Kyle Busch, it definitely makes his life easier. I mean, Joey's a tough guy to pass, so I mean, the whole reason I wasn't super high on Busch Larson types is because Joey's there, and I think Team Penske would probably team up. But with him being punted, definitely opens up the door for them. So I think Kyle Busch will probably get it up in projections for me, maybe slightly on Larson. Logano will take a dip. McDowell might get a slight increase. Blaney might get a slight increase as well. Just trying to think in my head what's going to change. Yeah, that's going to suck at Atlanta. Yeah, he could be. As long as he can hang in the drafts, though. I mean, at some point, he should get 2 laps back at some point. But it's, again, for DFS, he's pretty much toast at this point. I would say Nemechek, Sarugi. Yeah, it's definitely going to be long. They were doing the practicing on entering after qualifying yesterday too. I'll never forget. I forget which track it was, but Logano was by himself at a super speedway, And instead of just letting everyone buy, he just stuck it in the middle and made everyone move out of his way so we could hang in the draft. I forget which race that was, but that's just the type of guy Joey is. But yeah, for DFS, I would say Joey is pretty much dead unless you are crazy. Elliott or Blaney to finish higher? I would say Blaney. Blaney there. Hemrick runs really good at Atlanta's new configuration. Oh yeah, I don't mind Hemrick today. Don't mind him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, Charles, he can't dominate the race now. And the reason we were playing Joey is because, I mean, there's a decent chance this guy could dominate, and that's not going to happen anymore. Albert says, with Logano to the rear, does pivoting up from Elliott to Byron or Blaney makes sense? No, I don't really think it should affect your Elliott exposure. I mean, yeah, it makes me probably going to have more interest in Blaney and Byron now overall, but I don't think the direct pivot that you'd need to do. If I'm playing one lineup, should I avoid playing Larson, my favorite driver? If I'm playing one lineup, I don't think I'd want to trust Larson with it. We can play him next week at Las Vegas. Atlanta's probably not the one I'd want to hang everything on. Chuck says, when did Roger Goodell start enforcing penalties for NASCAR? Yeah, if you're just now getting here, Joey Logano, he's going to the rear, serving a penalty, at least one lap down, at the least, and pretty much dead for DFS. He needs to score from first, so I don't really see any reason to play Joey at this point. I would go with Keselowski over Byron if I could. Thoughts on cash, Dakota? I would say Jones, Keselowski, Bell, Elliott. That's 4. Then probably LaJoy, and then just pick someone else starting closer to the back for your 5th one. How OG is that, Dennis? I don't remember that one. I believe you, but 80% Ross and 100 built for a 320 max. Too much. It's a lot for the fact that shouldn't have some decent variance. I'd probably put that down a little bit more. What happened to LaJoy? Doesn't happen to LaJoy. LaJoy just qualifies like 30th every super speedway for some reason. Bush says, if I was Joey, I would tell them no and see in court. See how that goes. Let me see if I can do some of these projections live here. I might not be able to because I need to focus a little bit better. Do it. Doing the projections live during the clash, I hated it. I hated every second of that. Every second. Will Bush lead more than 25 laps? I mean, I could see that happening now with no Joey in the picture. I definitely think Bush is getting a bit of an upgrade. Everybody up there, just with no Joey, I mean, it makes your life easier. Pretty much have the best car. You know what I just thought of? All the people that commented Logano for being the most laps led on YouTube. Not going to happen now. Most likely. Yeah, just most random thing can happen where it still works out. Elliott go down 2 laps. No, Elliott doesn't have the same issue as Logano. Logano has a penalty where he has to serve a penalty. He has to serve a penalty. He has to serve a pass through. Elliott's just going to the rear. Nothing changes with Elliott. Hamlin or Blaney last driver in. I'd go with Blaney there. Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I wasn't playing back in 2015, Dennis. That's interesting. I did not know that. Seems kind of crazy actually, but yeah, Denny loves there were penalties back then. Favorite 6400 on DraftKings. I think Nemechek's my highest over there. Kind of hard to even gauge how you should project Logano to finish, really. I wonder if the odds changed or if they took him down potentially. So, I mean, if you're betting Logano, plus 700 is the favorite right now, you're insane. I wonder if I can get a cash out on that. I don't want my Joey bet anymore. That sucks. That was my favorite one. I had him at plus 1200, down to 7 now, and then big NASCAR. Yeah, he's plus 850 on Hard Rock still. I'm gonna have to get off here pretty soon because I gotta update this stuff. Kind of sucks for the Ford to win too. Yeah, not a fan of that penalty. Yes, I like Haley today. I think he's a good pivot from some of the chalkier ones. Forcing 2 or 3 Nemechek, Hosevar, Haley, Smith, Ross, and Suarez in all lineups. Thoughts? Not really anti that. I'll probably pop up a lot anyway. Elliott, Bell, Jones, LaJoy, Keselowski, 2,500 left over. That's fine for FanDuel. No problem with that. Who else besides McDowell for Dom now? I mean, Kyle Busch. I could see him getting up front. Ryan Blaney. Can't rule out Cindric either. Also, Bull gave me another update that Keselowski is plus money on DraftKings versus Joey currently for a head-to-head. Let me see. Yeah, they got Logano at minus 140. Keselowski at plus 105 in a head-to-head matchup. I mean, given the circumstances, I think you got to take Brad there. Surprised that's even up. Actually, I think that's pretty solid. I mean, they're not going to be able to team up now, Pugsley, which obviously sucks, but I think Blaney can still do fine on his own, but it definitely hurts not to have a teammate. No, if you're trying to take a stance on Jones, 85% is fine. If you're just, I mean, you got to get leverage somehow on him. He's going to be extremely chalky. I'm not sure, Jeff. No, mine was working earlier. Got a lot of Nemechek on FanDuel. I like him more on DraftKings, but well, yeah, it's tough to even know how to project Joey at this point. So at some point, he should get back there, and he should be able to pass guys at some point. Obviously, not right away. Depending on cautions, you get the stages, I guess. But it's not a guarantee though, especially if other guys are down. So yeah, it's a tough day for Joey now at this point. That is for sure. Block is after 3, correct? I'm gonna plain can't look. I believe it's at 3:15 on DraftKings, I believe. Brett says Brad will probably wreck Joey coming through the field, hit everything but the pace car this year. You're not wrong. Yeah, that is true. Obviously, though, the domination part for Joey, it's going to hurt. But if he can get a quick yellow, that's certainly going to help. Byron's projected ownership, I believe mid-20s. If people get off of Joey more now, though, that could rise a little bit. Hamlin versus Logano and Hard Rock. Let me check what the odds are. I would definitely take Hamlin. See what they have. It's minus 115. I mean, obviously, I would take Hamlin in that situation. But well, if anyone has any other questions, we'll answer them. Couldn't get to them all. Unfortunately, I think I have to cut this somewhat short. Now with the news. We pivot off of Blaney now to I'd still be playing some Blaney. Yeah, I can do that, Andre. I will. I gotta redo stuff now with Logano being out though. Well, not out, but you know. Rediker, LaJoy, and FanDuel. Probably lean LaJoy there. Yeah, definitely loses the baked-in Dominator equity. Best option under $5,500. For DraftKings, I'd probably say Haley. Yeah, Haley, Emmerich. Just kind of guys. No problem at all, Clint. I appreciate y'all being here. This was a very fun stream. Very fun stream. Is number 4 car going to Victory Lane this year? Had speed at Daytona? The thing is, though, everyone. I probably don't think so. If he's going to be, it's going to be at a short track. I have my own on my site. Well, for DraftKings. Yes, appreciate you all. It's been a fun one. If you have any other questions, I will try to get to them. If you want to leave a comment, obviously I got to be in Discord first for obvious reasons, but I will be in Discord. Be updating project for those of you on Patreon. Projections will be updated shortly. Got to switch a few things around now with the Logano penalty because obviously I can't have him projected winner at this point or leading the most laps. Ownership will probably take a little bit of a dip as well. So appreciate you all. This was a fun one. Next week, Las Vegas. More of a normal track, so that should be fun. But see y'all next time. Wish you the best of luck. We're going to need some luck today. And yeah, go win something.